Pirates are back home in Pittsburgh, and after a 7-2 road trip, it's still good to be home as the Pirates here today will take on the first place Chicago Cubs. And welcome into the booth, Joe Block along with Bob Walk with you here tonight. And those first place Cubs, well, they have been the talk of baseball so far this year. They're not atop all of baseball now this year, the second best record, as they have been sliding since the last time that these two teams have met.
Yeah, really, last time we saw them, they were running away with things. But the reason that they have been sliding, look at that team ERA at 5.13. You know, I would love to take this stat sheet and put it in my pocket. It just proves to everybody how important pitching can be, even for a dominant team like the Cubs. They quit pitching, they went south. And look at that bullpen ERA for the Pirates, 2.07, one of the huge reasons why the Pirates have gone the other way.
And the Pirates have also been getting a little bit of a lift from their farm system. A lot of guys coming up from the minor leagues, really contributing as of late. And the next one on the list is first baseman Josh Bell.
Well, Josh, you can see him going out ready to take his first big league batting practice. And just another example of the depth that we've had. And everybody that's come up, if you look at their stats, they really have deserved to be called up. And that's the same case here with Bell. Look how he's been tearing up the International League.
Well, look at our Barrel League leaders and leading the International League, the AAA International League, with 324 batting average. That's gone up over the last 7 or 8 weeks or so. OPS, he's tops in the league as well. He's a switch hitter, and Clint Hurdle says he'll be used off the bench in this 3-game series to get his first licks in the major leagues. And it's going to be a very festive night here tonight as well, as we're celebrating Pittsburgh's bicentennial. That's tomorrow, as we'll observe it here today. 200 years of Pittsburgh, 200 minutes of baseball. Coming up next, it's the Pirates of the Cubs on Root Sports.
Friday night, getting hype, it's the time again. Turn my hat, looking fast, turn it up to 10. We hit the gas, going fast to the boulevard. Grab the boys, grab the girls, headed to the park.
Big night on Friday Night Rocks. The Brighton boys. Got to meet them a few weeks ago. David Freese taking the field here as the Pirates begin a big 3-game series going into the All-Star break against these Cubs. And here's the lineup for Joe Maddon's Chicago Cubs. And Ben Zobrist to top the order with Chris Bryant in right field, and he's been especially hot of late. Now Rizzo, Wilson Contreras just called up a few weeks ago. He's cleaning up for the Cubs. Russell Hayward slides down in the order with Baez. Montero doing the catching of Jake Arrieta.
Francisco's numbers brought to you by Hyundai. Got a little work in the second half of the season to do on these numbers, and the base on balls that you see standing at 55. If he can, I think, start getting some of those down, then maybe a lot of those other ones will follow, start looking like they're in better shape. But the Pirates really need Liriano to be back to the way he has been the whole time this second half.
Here's the Honda defense for the Buccos. Starling Marte missed out on the final vote, but he's in left field. McCutchen and Polanco joining him out there. Freese, Rodriguez gets the start at short with Harrison and Jaso. Eric Kratz doing the catching. Ben Zobrist to lead things off for Chicago.
Pretty good first pitch. Liriano did not get the call. That's where he wants to be, on the edges at the knees. Yeah, got that one. Well, I've always said it's 50-50 when you throw out there, so flip a coin. One tails, one heads.
And now we had 1-2 with Alfonso Marquez calling the balls and strikes this evening. There's the 1-2.
There's a changeup that was so effective in his last start.
There's Marquez calling the action behind the plate here today. Larry Vanover is the crew chief. He's over at first base. There's Larry. David Rackley at second base. Chris Guccione is the umpire at third. Two on Zobrist, one of the best on base guys in the National League. 396. Scott out toward right. There's Polanco. And the leadoff man heading back to the dugout.
I think that out pitch was a changeup, I believe. One of the things that I think Liriano tried to change a little bit in that last start was not throw quite as many sliders when he was trying to put somebody away, but go to that changeup. See if he'll do that again this evening.
Bryant has been red hot. Going to try for two. And a throw way offline, a double for Bryant.
That was on the fastball. Not a bad spot for that fastball. Got it down and away, but Bryant just goes out there and hooks it into the gap.
First baseman, number 44, Anthony Rizzo.
Coming in his last 11 games, as we just showed you, 14 runs scored, 13 RBIs, 7 home runs.
Kutch able to cut that ball off, but his throw a little bit to the outfield side, so Bryant in fairly easy.
20 doubles for Bryant. He's now 5 for 10 lifetime against Liriano. Anthony Rizzo came on last year, really showing that he could hit lefties. This year that is back down to just 200. Still with some power though. Overall good numbers, 20 home runs.
He's got a real weak spot in that up and in area of the strike zone. I guess that's been taken advantage of maybe by lefties this year, better than last season. Why he gets hit all the time. Everybody trying to throw him up and in.
Rizzo has been hit with 13 pitches. $30 times last year. That's who leads the National League, and Rizzo right up there.
Might be some guys get hit in the next 3 days.
Bryant up there. Marte, of course, another guy that crowds the plate.
He was right on top of that plate. Look at his back foot, the toe is on the line closest to home plate. That just really kind of invites a pitcher to try and jam him. But it gives him excellent plate coverage. I mean, he can go out and, surprisingly, one of his hot spots is down in a way. That's normally a spot where most guys really can't hit.
Bryant at second with 1 out.
Did it go?
No, on the appeal, it's 3-2.
That was close. It might have. Oh, no, it wasn't close. It wasn't close at all.
Hoping to get that.
I guess I was just wishing.
Yeah. Trying to get him here on 3-2. Lost him. Rizzo also with a high on base percentage at .402. That's third best in the league, so he'll draw his walks. 2 men aboard for Wilson Contreras. And if you're saying who? Well, this guy came up in the last
we were in
series.
Chicago, yeah.
So what's that been? Maybe 3 weeks? And you can see the numbers in 20 games. 14 RBIs, 5 home runs. He's batting cleanup for the Cubs.
Yeah, he was mashing the ball in AAA. Kind of forced their hand.
The catcher by trade, he's in left field.
Remember when they came up that first day, they were just going to ease him in here and there. Try to keep him solvent, I think was the quote that I read.
All inside.
His ledger looks very solvent right now.
Yes. Well, they brought him in as a defensive replacement in the 9th inning just to get his feet wet. Didn't even bat in that first game. Time call. Contreras, 24 years old. 2 Cubs aboard with 1 out. 2-0.
Give into the count. Just walk somebody, 2-0 count, and the youngster is just bets the ranch on he's going to get a fastball. And man, was he out? What a great shot that was. Showing you how far in front of that ball. That ball still had 3 feet to go before it got anywhere near the front of the plate, and the bat was already through.
Missed with the fastball away that time. 3-1.
But he really did sell out on fastball. And most of the time in the minor leagues, the guy that just walks somebody and then goes 2-0, you're going to get a fastball. But not with a wily old veteran like Liriano out there. He's going to throw whatever he wants to.
Rodriguez. Did he stay on the bag? Yes. Harrison getting a force out.
That was a great play, really, just to keep that ball going out into the outfield, much less get the out.
Saves a run.
You can see there the fingers on the baseball. He had no grip on that as he was throwing it. Sean that just kind of had the whole hand on it. Oh, it was like a palm ball as he was throwing it.
Had to really hurry.
Yeah, he didn't have time to set any kind of grip. He had to get rid of it.
Let Harrison stay on the back. That's a great play all around. Puts
A
runners
couple
in
of
the corners.
hard-nosed guys right there. Sean Rodriguez and Jay Hay. They are going to always sacrifice their body, do whatever it is to win a game.
Liriano a second chance to get out of this inning scoreless. Russell on the first pitch. Out into that sun field and left, and he does. So that great play affords Liriano a scoreless first, and the Pirates coming to bat. Liriano in the top half of the first. Left a couple of men aboard. And now the Toyota lineup for the homestanding Pirates. Clint Hurdle pens out this 9. It's Jaso atop the order with Polanco and McCutchen to follow. Freese, Marte, and Harrison. Sean Rodriguez batting 7th, and Eric Kratz catching Francisco Liriano.
Jake Arrieta's numbers obviously pretty darn good. I know that of late not been as good as he's been in the past. Kind of a little rough patch, but big Cy Young Award winners get into a little slump every now and then.
An all-star for the first time this Tuesday. He goes to San Diego. Arrieta has done so well against the Pirates that I think, well, gosh, can he be beaten? Pirates have beaten him before.
Pretty good slider right there. That's been one of the pitches that supposedly he's had a hard time with. Nothing bad about that pitch. Good location, nice bite to it. Had a 91 mile-an-hour velocity on it. For a breaking pitch.
Let's go, Bucks!
Let's look at our Rivers Casino tips to win for tonight.
Get him in play 3 times this year. Has been double figures in strikeouts. 2 of them have been against us. So we got to get him in play. Not so many strikeouts, and make him work in his 3 losses this year. He's gone 5 innings, and I believe 5 in the 3rd. Well over 100 pitches in each one of those games through just 5 innings. So one of the things that you can do against him, especially in the first couple innings, is get that pitch count up. He's not always locked in control-wise early on. So hopefully tonight we can make him throw a lot of pitches early. See what happens. Can't hurt.
I think there's an added benefit too. I mean, the old adage is you want to get into the bullpen, which some teams that actually doesn't do you a lot of good. But this Cubs bullpen very much beaten up. And you can see the 4 earned runs or more. Back-to-back starts, but he starts off Jaso by striking him out.
Yeah, got to chase the ball. That fastball looked like it was outside by 3 or 4 inches, maybe. Wasn't that far outside. A couple inches. Two-seamer probably had a little bit of sail on it, kind of taking it away. Jaso also in his 2-strike approach, so he was waiting. He didn't want to miss that slider. He was a little late on the fastball because of that.
There's Polanco.
I see nothing wrong with his slider here in the first 2 hitters.
Polanco at 291 with a dozen home runs. 50 runs batted in. Foul tip puts Polanco down 2 strikes. Pirates coming into tonight 8.5 games behind these Cubs. Chance, you know, you win the series, you knock off a game from that.
This is a very important series. Really for both teams. The Cubs, they're scuffling right now. They need a little something to get them into the break. They don't want to go into this break losing the way they are right now. And of course, the Pirates, they're on a little bit of a roll. They have cut a lot of games off the Cub lead and have a chance now to, well, theoretically, if you sweep them, you cut 3 more off, which would be best case scenario. But I mean, even taking 2 out of 3, I think, is important. It's still just July, but you gotta keep that momentum going, keep chopping off those games.
And Polanco strikes out looking. In our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile and Jake Arrieta, after just being basically unbeatable over most of the equivalent of a season. ERA now over 4 in his last 6 starts, and the walks doubling. Illustrating that the command may be wavering a bit. So far, we haven't seen that through 2 batters. 1 to Andrew McCutcheon. 238, 12 home runs, driven in 32. Baez gets the out. And there we go. That sends down the Pirates in order. Through 1, no score.
Cubs are scoreless as we move to the top of the second inning. We've talked about the Cubs' recent struggles as a team. You know, they were playing a stretch of 24 games in 24 days. Of course, the Pirates know all about that, considering they played 16 games in 16 days from June the 14th to June 29th. The Bucks went 16-10. The Cubs are currently 8-13. Should also note that the Pirates went 31 consecutive days without a day off. Yes, they had a couple of rainouts, but traveling to the yard, prepping for a game that is canceled, Bob Walk, certainly does not go down as a day off, does it not?
No, that's not a day off. Anytime you go to the ballpark, it's not a day off, in my book.
And those rainouts were coming, you know, after 2 or 3 hours, or 2 hours or so after the game was supposed to start. So everyone's done all their pregame work and then waited around for it. It's about a 6-week stretch there where the Pirates were at the ballpark every day.
It is what it is, and you know, and you look now, we're in a stretch where there's all kinds of days off. So you would wish that it would be a little evened out a little bit, but what are you going to do? You get the schedule, you got to play it.
It can wear a team down. Two and one on Hayward. Big free agent signing for the Cubs. Hitting at 237 and 4 home runs. Playing in center tonight. Jaso will get the first out. And speaking of the schedule, tomorrow night the Pirates should take on the rival Cubs at 7:15. And if you come on out to the North Shore, got a Saturday night block party for you featuring the Line and Kugel Bar. There's some live music, a lot more going on Federal Street. Plus, everyone wins on an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. So get your tickets at Pirates.com. Javier Baez. That quick exchange to get the final out of the first. He's hit well against lefties too. 362. So 90 points above his overall average.
Hey, don't be talking about me back there.
A good changeup started off just to get the strike one, and then followed it up with a cue shot off the end of the bat. Good movement on those pitches also. Almost like a little screwball action on it.
You don't see a lot of that anymore. Baez plunked.
Two change-ups in a row. They set up inside for the fastball, and that's maybe 3 inches inside.
And trying to get out of the way of it, he ended up moving into its path a little bit.
I'm not real sure he tried to get out of the way of that.
Put that in air quotes.
Yeah, I agree.
He's heavily guarded, so Baez okay. He's got 6 steals, so you got to keep an eye on him over there.
He usually gives guys a hard time. He's got a pretty good move. Sometimes he'll just slide step.
Miguel Montero. Strike one to the 197 hitting Cubs catcher.
That one had me a little nervous. Very short right there where the foul pole is.
Mariano tending to the base runner. Erik Kratz has done a nice job behind the plate too. He's thrown out 3 out of 4. And throughout his career, he's been an above average catcher in terms of helping out the pitcher. And that hits Montero.
Not a good start. He had Baez 0-2 and basically put him on with a free pass. Montero, having a tough year, hitting under 200. That ball was maybe an inch inside. Although those three pitches could have been more, if you put them all together, could have been more than 3 inches inside.
So 2 aboard, and this is no lightweight. It's Montero, the trailing runner. Baez average or a little above average probably at second base. Arrieta hitting at 306. He's got a pair of home runs this year. He's hit 4 in his career. So a dangerous hitter, and they may not just ask him to lay down a butt like you would think for most pitchers.
No, it doesn't look like they're going to do that. He's got big eyes when he hits.
The ball.
We're asking now, where exactly is that pitch? If Montero was still up, he'd have hit it. It was an inch inside.
You're not kidding. 2-0. There's very few pitchers that you would see right here not be asked to bunt in this situation. Even with 1 out.
Well, here comes strike 3 on a changeup. Be my guess.
Try to get him to chase off speed.
On a changeup. That'll be a slide. I'm not called changeup. Oh, wiggle those fingers.
What's he going to throw him? One, two. He swings the bat and gets L'Oreal out of the inning. No hits, 1 left. No score through 1.5. Celebrate its bicentennial, and though Pittsburgh was incorporated as a town in 1771, it wasn't until 1816 when Ebenezer Denny was sworn in as its first mayor. He was the Revolutionary War hero, and when Pittsburgh became a city, he was the mayor. He only lasted about a year because of some failing health, but That is a look at Mr. Denny and the confluence of the Three Rivers, what it looked before Point State Park. That was back in 1817. Look at that. And all weekend a big parade tomorrow here downtown with a birthday bash going on tonight down at the History Center. So very cool.
There'll be a lot of fun stuff going on. Really interested to read back through all the history of Pittsburgh. A lot of amazing things taking place here.
One cool thing they're going to have tomorrow is they'll have descendants of every Pittsburgh mayor in the parade. Some had to come from overseas. What do you think about that? In 200 years. David Freese down the line, and this one is gone. David Freese with home run number 10, and the Pirates strike first.
Challenged him with a fastball, but it was 95. That's where Freese hits the ball hard most of the time, is another way. Gets back off the plate, moves in toward the strike zone. Lets that ball travel a little bit further because he's so far off the plate. He gets a better look at it. Drives those balls to right field. This one, plenty of distance.
Arrieta had not given up a home run against the Pirates this season or last season. Pirates have seldom even had a lead against Arrieta at any point. David Freese extending that hitting streak. Every game that he played on that road trip, he hit safely. Starling Marte is going to get on as it evades Russell.
Would have been a tough play even if he catches that. Have to get up and make a quick throw with something on it to throw out Marte. As he went down in his slide, the ball went up right over his glove.
See how they rule that. But Marte tied for the league lead in infield hits. That's why Russell had to hurry. First time that he's given up a home run or more. Marte with another stolen base. His 26th.
Seemed like Russell was a little late getting there then. He stumbled. You can see Marte slip, and then I figured, well, they got a shot at him now because of that slip. But Russell, as he got there, at the same time as the throw. So now look at that. He's got a lunge at the ball and just gets his legs taken out from under him, and the ball goes flying. But if he was there earlier, he just makes the catch, puts the tag down.
26 steals and now in scoring position. Looks like he's going to put that tag on.
Oh, if he was there early, he's going to be out easy. I mean, he was out there, except the fact that when he got upended because he was lunging forward, he dropped the ball.
And a good throw from Montero, who's really struggled from behind the plate this year. He's thrown out 2 attempted base stealers in 42 tries.
Maybe there's nobody over there.
That's less than 5%. Big league average is close to 30.
He got no help on that one. He barely got his toe out of the way. That almost hit his L.C. Greenwood shoes.
He's always got something fun on his feet. Oh boy. King Midas didn't have shoes like that. Hit well to center. Hayward back. And it'll have room. That moves Marte to third with one out.
Nice hand for Jay.
A productive out.
We're going to make it out. Drive the guy over to third base. Got nobody out. They almost drove him all the way home with that one.
That close.
All right, infield in. Let's get him home.
Pirates lead on the Freese home run, looking for more. Sean Rodriguez had a good road trip. Trying to heat up with the bat.
PS still up there in the 800s. Pretty good hook.
Marte just 90 feet away with that good speed. Arrieta has thrown 7 wild pitches, most on the Cubs.
Where the hell are you, man? I still have it, I think.
Blasted to left and deep, and there it goes! A home run for Sean Rodriguez! The Pirates have homered twice in this inning off Jake Arrieta.
Boy, was that blasted. Definitely put the right name on that one. Man. Ain't no doubter.
Arrieta had given up just 5 earned runs in his last 8 starts against the Pirates. 3 here in this inning on 2 home runs.
And that might have been one of the bad sliders. Let's see what this is supposed to be away. Oh, yep. Hung a slider. Right on time with that one. And right now at this moment, everyone knows it's gone immediately.
Rats will take strike 3. And the second out of the inning.
That was that slider. It just didn't break all that much, and he started it inside. That was never going to make it out there where the glove was. Montero actually was kind of setting off the plate a little bit. The target was out that far, and no chance that slider would move that way. That far, anyway. Looked like Frankie was taking the first pitch.
Last time that Arrieta gave up 2 home runs in an inning in any start was when the Pirates went back to back to back on September 13th, 2013. He's only given up 2 home runs in a game twice in the 14, 15, and 16 seasons prior to today. So that just doesn't happen. The Pirates have done it. 2-2 on Liriano. Also one of the top batting averages for pitchers. Did that bounce? Nope. Held on to. by Montero. But the Pirates strike for 3 on a pair of home runs. David Freese starting the frame with his 10th home run. And then Sean Rodriguez with a big blast. And the Pirates have a 3-run lead.
Pirates Baseball on Roots Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Bordas & Bordas, official legal partners of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit BordasLaw.com. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates have a 3-0 lead against Jake Arrieta and the Cubs. Hey, well, kick them while they're down, right?
Yep.
Trying to go into the All-Star break, riding this hot streak. The Pirates went 7-2 on this road trip. The Cubs have lost 7 of their last 8.
And the Cubs' earned run average of late is way up there. Again tonight, they've given up 3 runs in the first 2 innings.
With the reigning Cy Young Award winner on the mound. And Zobrist, the leadoff man, flat out his first time. Cubs ERA in July is almost 9. And Freese, a rare boot. Some Point Park tweets for tonight. Mary says 2 homers in an inning against Arrieta. Yeah, that's worth that emoji, right? Jenna, how's a deep freeze sound tonight in Pittsburgh? Well, in the middle of summer, yeah, and that was a rocket off Sean Rodriguez. Almost 109 miles per hour according to Statcast. Second hardest hit ball off Arrieta this season. Off the bat of Sean Rodriguez. Sean Rodriguez now with 29 runs batted in.
Mine? No.
Moving up the
mine
team
was not a bad
ranks.
hit.
Kind of getting in that midst with Marte and McCutcheon. May even bypass those guys. And of course, Rodriguez, a part-time player.
It's tough to see who starters and bench players are when you look at certain columns on the stat sheet. The quote-unquote bench guys, they have done more than their share of damage this season. And because of that, they see more and more playing time.
Jammed him. There's Marte. Liriano was in a little trouble in the first couple of innings, but Defense helped bail them out. And in this inning, the defense starts him with a base runner. But see if Liriano can wriggle through the meat of this lineup. Got Bryant, now Rizzo. Drew a walk first time around. 3-0 Pirates. Cardinals begin a series in Milwaukee this evening. Cardinals a half game ahead of the Pirates after winning the series finale. So getting on base are better than 400. Enjoy a moving night under the stars this Thursday at PNC Park. Watch the baseball classic, The Sandlot, on the scoreboard. Tickets are only $5 and you can enjoy discounted food and beverages. So get your tickets at pirates.com/movie night. Watch it right there, right here. Wilson Contreras. His first throws in the major leagues. Very good play by Rodriguez, and Harrison did a force out when he batted in the first. A catcher by trade. He's out and left tonight. Cubs kind of forced to call him up. He was just hitting so well. Hitting in range of 350 down in Iowa. Pirates calling up Josh Bell today, who will come off the bench in this series.
Can't wait to see him up there and see what he can do with the bat. Be interesting. Frazier, he came up and really started contributing right away.
And Bell also excelling in Indianapolis at AAA.
The Pirates cannot complain about the help that they have gotten this year from AAA. A lot of players, period, pitchers and regular position guys doing a great job down there.
Ahead of Contreras now.
Ball hitting on the heel of the glove. Bounced out.
Kratz will come out. Yeah, Bell had been doing so well down there in India. Last 49 games hitting at .364, leading the International League in batting average and in OPS. Clint Hurdle characterizing Bell, who will just be off the bench for this series. No guarantees he'll stay any longer than that, but at least we'll get a look. And he's been playing first base for the second straight season and improving there. But offensively speaking, there's been really no hole in his game. Liriano trying to get that final strike. Pitch count in a nice spot right now. If he can get Contreras here.
Yeah, that first inning. He had a little bit of trouble. He still only threw 19 pitches in that inning. Not too bad for what the situation was. It just paints a little fastball there, right in up and in corner.
So the error, no matter. And the Pirates enjoying a 3-0 lead. Park and all the fans, the first 20,000 at least, coming in, getting that Starling Marte Gold Glove T-shirt. Root Sports presenting that. And speaking of Root Sports, take a second to recognize Dave Whitman, who threw out the first pitch before the game tonight. Dave, the VP of Marketing from Armstrong Cable, delivering a strike right there. So nice night with his son here too. See Dave here at the ballpark, and good to see the Pirates with a 3-0 lead over Jake Arrieta and the Cubs. Here are home runs last inning by Freese and Sean Rodriguez.
That's one of my tips. Have just been hitting home runs off of it.
Outscore opponent.
Just pound them over the fence.
If it were that easy, right?
Yeah. If it were that easy.
But as you did point out, you know, Arrieta has been in a bit of a downturn in recent starts.
Is that Bell? Pat Mother? Looked like it, didn't it?
Could have been
one on Jaso.
Awfully shiny.
Oh, that is a shiny Arrieta belt.
Look at
Look at that. Oh boy. Is that legal? Maybe that's their standard issue. It seems to be awfully shiny though. You're right. And one hopper to Zobrist.
Somewhere at home, I think I still have some Pat Mother baseball cleats.
Oh boy. Were you a styler?
No.
That was the standard issue though?
Adidas at that time made a set of Pat Mother. Shoes back then were, I mean, basically all they had was the shoemaker's insignia on it. That was that. But the Adidas did come out at one time with a patent leather shoe, and I put one of those away. Now it's all, the leather's all deteriorating, rotting. You can still tell it was patent leather.
I don't know if they're meant to last 30 years, right? Blanco gets underneath this one. Hayward.
Still got some decent carry out of it. Hayward back on the track.
Both Polanco and Harrison have driven him to the track in center.
Yeah, Hayward a little bit fooled on that. He had to do a little backpedaling right there at the end to get back to that ball. I think it was going to carry that far.
A bit wayward.
A bit wayward for Hayward.
McCutchen bounced out his first trip. 3-0 Pirates here in the third. Chance to gain ground. This one heading toward the corner. And over the wall, a ground rule double. A nice easy swing by McCutchen.
Another hanging breaking ball from Arrieta. This is very similar to the home run pitch. I mean, just right there, they wanted to slide her outside, and he couldn't get it out there. I said earlier that that slider looked like it was just fine. Well, now we're starting to see why he's had problems with it. He's just inconsistent with the location of that pitch.
Now David Freese, who homered back in the second. And he's got another base hit. McCutchen will be held. Got a late start, and Hayward has a great arm in center. David Freese is as hot as it gets right now.
Yeah, he's hitting the heck out of the ball. They challenge him with a fastball again. Catches it, goes to take off, and almost slipped and fell.
Rick Schofield down that line, holding him up at the last moment, even with 2 outs. Starling Marte. What's interesting is if the Cubs had Dexter Fowler in center field, he's their normal center fielder who may still start in the All-Star game, voted in. Fowler doesn't have nearly the arm as Hayward does, so maybe he runs still on Fowler. Who knows? Speaking of All-Stars, Starling Marte today, part of that National League final vote, he fell short to Brandon Belt of the Giants, who ended up getting elected in. But thanks to everybody for voting for Starling Marte, it ended up being a close second. Still might get in if Fowler is unable to play in the All-Star game. Well, in the inning, as the Pirates get a couple of hits but strand 2, and they enjoy a 3-0 lead.
It's time for the Toyota RAV4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
And observing Pittsburgh's bicentennial officially tomorrow, and starting to rocket tonight. And this is over at the Heinz History Center, where the bicentennial birthday bash is going on right now. And a new exhibit being looked at, and that's a cake.
Wow, that is a cake. Nice. Look at the river. It's made out of cupcakes with blue frosting.
Oh, look at that. I would enjoy eating the river. Send 2 of those to the booth, care of Bob Walk.
Yeah, we'll take some cake up here.
On the UPMC scoreboard, Pirates owning a 3-0 lead. A couple of home runs off Arrieta in the second. And Liriano, let's not forget, has pitched pretty decently so far.
Yeah, I really like that last inning, especially the way he ended it with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in a perfect spot.
Liriano, yeah, noticing the velocity has been up since that first inning, 95. There's one out.
Change up, I think. Addison might have been looking for it this time, as he was all over the changeup. Just an out. Your scorebook, nothing more. It's the way you want to think about it when you're out there on the mound. Don't think, oh, they hit that one. Who cares? Just believe me, they're going to hit some little bloopers too. When that happens, you can't feel sorry for yourself, so don't feel bad when they line out. Don't think anything of it other than it's just an out.
Even on Hayward. Yeah, so for Liriano, I mean, we have not seen him throw a quality start since May 18th, but looked a little better last time around. 3 runs in 5 innings. He got to the point where, okay, now here's a start where he's keeping the club in the ball game. Tonight now he's gone a step further. The walks are down. That's the last time around against the A's. Just 1 walk so far. And so we're starting to see a little theme here. Maybe some better command. Last couple of starts here.
A better command.
I mean, he hit a couple guys today.
But you got to force guys to start swinging, because that's really his bread and butter. As guys start chasing things, you prove to them you're throwing strikes, and they start having to swing. Then you start throwing pitches like that right there, and you get the chases and the strikeouts. That has always been his game. Been a big strikeout guy. Always throws a lot of pitches. 6 innings, 100 pitches is about what Frankie does.
Fairly economical tonight. And hit well to center. Hudson can't get it. And it's going to be extra bases for Hayward, who will stand at third with a triple.
That ball hit the top of the fence and come back, the yellow line.
May very well have. I was waiting to see if any fans
we'll be able to
were
see
going to be part of this too. And no,
it hit the
just beside the glove.
Hit
just
that
deep of it.
The fabric, the chain link fabric, I think, and it
Yeah,
on top of the padding.
Yeah, the padding comes out from that fencing, and that's where it hit.
Almost.
There's just a little bit of an edge atop that padding, and that's where it came back. So a 3-base hit for Hayward. First triple of the year.
Good job to the fans out there keeping their hands off the ball, giving Kutch a shot at it.
Javier Baez with the infield back.
I mean, how many times did we see fan interference on that same exact play? And then you got to have go to the video to see who touched it, if anybody touched it, and all that.
And it was very close to being a ball that could have been caught.
Right. So I mean, everybody gave Kutch a chance to make that play. That doesn't always happen in Chicago.
The ball to strike on Baez. It was clipped with a pitch back in the second. And Cubs with a threat here. Pirates were trading out on the ground for the run. Leading 3-0 in the fourth. Liriano coming into today the highest walks per nine of any starting pitcher, qualified starting pitcher, in the last 22 years of baseball. But 1 walk last time around, 1 walk so far today. Maybe that trend is ending. They'll get the run. The Pirates get what they want in the out.
Yeah, right now with a 3-run lead, you got to make that trade. You hope that the run doesn't score. Maybe you get a strikeout on that pitch, but got put play. So, all right, move on.
So 3-1. Good look there on our Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Hard to throw from your knees that accurately, and Harrison makes it look easy.
Hayward actually held up a little bit on that ball. He had to make sure it bounced. He didn't know if it was going to be a line drive. Which, even though the infield was back, could have cost him a chance to score on that.
Harrison's made a couple of nimble plays out there this evening. Inactive. And the Cubs get the 1. And through 3.5 on a Friday night. 3-1 Pirates. Francisco Cervelli. That's a good sign. I'll look on our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Cervelli taking batting practice. He has done some catching now in the simulated games, and is going to stay with the club for the rest of this first half, basically this weekend, and then they'll evaluate whether Cervelli might go out and start a rehab assignment.
Yeah, that'll be the good sign we're looking for when he goes out and actually plays in a game in the minor leagues, and then we know he's real close.
The Pirates have a lot of guys very close. Barring any future injuries, you know, in 2 weeks, might see everybody.
Definitely could happen.
Garrett Cole is set to pitch on Sunday, as will Ryan Vogelsong, who will be eligible to return in about 2 weeks. And Cole, if he comes out all right, then you can see him pitching basically right after the All-Star break. There's Garrett Cole. Be down in Indy on Sunday. Speaking of Francisco Cervelli, Sunday's a Kids Day here at PNC Park. Bucks of the Cubs at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger receiving these Francisco Cervelli wall decals presented by Allegheny Health Network. And if you want tickets, go to Pirates.com. Come on out and pick up some fun stuff for the kids. Fifth strikeout for Arrieta.
This is the pitch that's made the difference in the ball game. He throws it out there, he's getting swings and misses. But then every time he hangs one, he gets hammered somewhere. See the spin on that slider of his. Coming in there kind of like a football. Spiraling.
Sean Rodriguez went deep his last time. He and Freese homering in that second inning, so I've sometimes seen that slider be located poorly. Time the fastball getting ahead of Sean 0-2. Pitches. So 6 Ks for Arrieta. Pirates leading 3-1. Eric Kratz, 2-out chance. Now Eric Kratz has got a collection of moments that he's enjoyed in his big league career to this time, but he can now say that he has struck out an all-star, striking out Brandon Belt in his pitching appearance this year. Arrieta with a tidy inning in the 4th. It's quite the series ongoing there. You're seeing Daniel Murphy against his old club, just continuing his great season. And how about for the Mets, Matt Harvey, thoracic outlet syndrome, which is combined with his previous Tommy John surgery. It's tough to come back from. Really, Jaime Garcia, the only one to have any success after having both of those surgeries. So we wish the best to Matt Harvey and the Mets. I don't want to see one of your key cogs go down. Building memories night after night. That's Matt Harvey there. 4 months. They take out a rib. I mean, that's a tough go of things. Well, if it can get him right, Best off for that young pitcher.
Yeah, before he had this these health problems, he looked like he was going to be the best in the business.
Baseball and Cracker Jacks, right?
That's what they say.
Something like that.
They don't have either one up here anymore. They don't have any baseballs, no Cracker Jacks.
That kid, I'm sure, would be glad to give you his.
We usually have a baseball up here. I have to get one.
Arrieta can foul one back up here.
That would be a tough one to do.
Arrieta bounced into a double play back in the second inning. Swinging away with first and second and one out. And with benefit of hindsight, that ended up costing the Cubs furthering the rally of that inning, but coming into today hitting over 300. Joe Madden giving him that opportunity. Fair at bat here. You can follow the Pirates live with MLB.com at bat and stay up to the moment at any moment with that app. You get game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat. #1 app for live baseball on the phone tablet. Arrieta gets 7 pitches out of Liriano.
He's tough. He's not like throwing to a pitcher. You got to go at him like he's a normal hitter. Throw your best stuff to him.
Tonight he's looked like more of a normal pitcher.
Well, except for he's made him work. He threw a very nice changeup to him last time to get him out. This time it was a slider that looked like Arrieta thought it was going to break in off the plate, and it broke, but stayed right there on that inside corner.
I meant on the mound.
Oh, yeah.
Giving up a pair of home runs.
Yeah, he has looked like a normal pitcher on the mound, that's for sure.
And Arrieta practically unbeatable against the Pirates last couple of years. They did not hit a home run last year or this year against him in 8 starts. Arrieta had given up just 5 earned runs in those 8 starts. And just get this, in 8 starts, a total of 25 hits against the Pirates. They've collected 5 already tonight. 2 have left the yard. Meanwhile, Liriano has been this has probably been his best start in quite some time so far. Just missed.
I think Kratz might have wanted that pitch.
Just moved out of the zone at the last moment.
Tail on that changeup. That screwball action we were talking about that his changeup has. Actually took it out of the strike zone.
What is a screwball? Lefties used to throw this all the time.
It's a changeup. Just a changeup.
Is it a different grip than the standard, circle change, or?
You can have like, for instance, now of course we don't have the baseball. Liriano throws a circle change, and you can see he has screwball movement to it. So it's just anytime you can get that ball to come out of your hand, off to the side and have that kind of reverse curveball spin to it, it's going to fall away. So whatever grip you're going to use, as long as you get that release to come out sideways, and a circle change. If you kind of turn your wrist a little bit at release, it's going to have that natural movement that way. The change-up grip, and I tried them all, trying to find one that really worked, that I thought had that best screwball type movement was a changeup they call the Vulcan change, where it's like a Spock threw a forkball. and that one, for some reason, when it came out of my hand, had a little weird spin to it, and it would fall away. But it's just, I think it's something that everybody kind of experiments with when they start first throwing a changeup. And some guys don't want it to move because they don't want the movement to make it tougher to control. Some guys are looking for that changeup that's dead straight and has backspin so that it'll look like a fastball.
Bryant down the line and foul.
I mean, that's the whole purpose, really, of the changeup, is to get you guys off the fastball. So if you're throwing something that they can pick up the spin and spinning sideways, they're going to know it's not a fastball.
But then if it's got that late movement,
right,
it's tough to hit.
Doesn't matter.
Try to get a swing and miss. Fernando Valenzuela, a Warren Spahn, right through the screwball, lefties.
I can remember hitting off Valenzuela, and it's not like the ball broke down and away like a right-hander throwing a curveball to, but it was more like somebody had a real good changeup, like Liriano's. See how that ball kind of comes out of his fingers a little bit different?
Good look on our Allegheny Health Network Super Mode. It's cool how we can see that now. Really slow it down
see
with clarity.
Look at the actual grip coming off.
He's enjoying this one tonight. Friday night, big series against the Cubs.
Let me out. Let me out.
Swing and a miss with Zobrist on the run. Dropped the ball.
Throw coming in just a little bit high. Jay getting up there and can't quite get down in time to put the tag on.
Fourth stolen base for Zobrist. Kratz knew it right away. He has caught 3 of the 5 trying to steal, has Kratz this year.
That throw would have been just a little lower and had another one.
Now full count on Bryant. Dangerous pair here for the Cubs with Rizzo on deck. There's 25 home runs, tops in the National League. And Zobrist in scoring position with 1 out. 3-1, Pirates lead in the 5th. That's the 3rd walk issued by Liriano. Back to back here in the 5th. And Ray Searage is going to want to come out and visit.
Yeah, the double play ball has been his friend tonight.
He's had some good glove work behind him.
Needs one right now.
Yeah, Rizzo coming up. Good news with Rizzo, has not hit lefties well. Kept him back to the mound his last time against Liriano. On his last start, there was a point where he bent but didn't break. Toward the end of his outing, A's had already scored, and they were been in scoring position and got a couple of flyouts to end that 5th inning. That kept that game at 3-2 at that point. Pirates were trailing. They came back to win. Here with a lead, trying to keep it that way with Rizzo. In the air to left. Marte. It's the 2nd out. There's some words of wisdom doing good there.
Rizzo's look on his face. He knows it's just going to be a routine fly ball, no carry to it.
There's Wilson Contreras. For 2 tonight. Rookie batting in the cleanup spot. Gorgeous Friday night. Glad to be home, even though the Pirates went 7-2 on this last road trip. Really getting back into things. Gaining ground with regularity against these Cubs, who have been sliding. Pirates stand 8.5 back. With a chance to gain ground over this weekend series. Snap throw to second. Zobrist back. How does the catcher and second baseman know that that's going to happen?
They'll put on a sign. They got a way, sign to communicate with each other. Same thing with the guys at the corners. Sometimes it's tough for the pitcher because he doesn't know what's going on when you throw to second base. Good slider.
Gotta be ready to duck.
I have seen on a rare occasion the pitcher actually reach up and snag one of those throws.
He struck him out.
Great changeup.
First swing and miss strikeout for Liriano tonight. And the Cubs have left on 6. In Pirates history, and back in 1994, as part of the festivities surrounding the All-Star game at Three Rivers, the statue of Roberto Clemente was unveiled outside of the Gate B by the stadium, and the Clemente family joined by the commissioner and city officials for the ceremony, and of course later moved to the center field gate just outside PNC Park. 3-1 Pirates here. That's cool. I never got to see it unveiled. The first time I ever was in Pittsburgh was in 1994 when they had the banner up there, so a statue for Roberto, and the date, of course, when it would be unveiled. And so for me, I was excited to learn that he would be getting a statue as a fan from another town coming in. And first time I got to see the video for it. Of course, I've seen the statue now.
Nice spot for it now, too,
Yeah.
right there at the end of the Clemente Bridge. There we go.
Liriano with a leadoff base hit.
Might put him up over 300 again. Slider.
First baseman, John Jaso.
They let that ball get nice and deep. Whack it the other way. Ball's right over the top of the plate when it made contact.
We're getting word that his average is up to 303. Jaso 0 for 3. So one away. There it is, the Clemente statue. Now, the only more fitting place for it would be in right field, but the Allegheny River is there. So you got to put it somewhere.
That's his bridge, so put it next to his bridge.
The bridge works,
Yeah.
but right at the foot of the bridge. It greets you as you come in from downtown. Just a very cool thing. And of course, the Honus Wagner statue moved from Forbes Field here as well. Roy Stargell statue just down the way when you make your walk over at the Clemente Bridge. It's part of the beauty that this ballpark and the Pirates add to what we're celebrating this weekend at Pittsburgh, and that's the bicentennial. 200 years of Pittsburgh.
Ralph Kiner's hands. Over in the rotunda, I believe. Statue of his hands.
All sorts of great
I guess
parts
they've
here.
been, I've heard they've been moved.
In on his hands there, got to short for the second out. And part of the great bicentennial celebration is all of the ballparks that Pittsburgh has called home, and Recreation Park, then Exposition Park a few blocks away, and of course in Oakland, Forbes Field. And the great multi-purpose stadium that was Three Rivers. It is no more. And the beauty on the Allegheny, PNC Park, which draws rave reviews from all over, all of our travels.
Don't be mocking Three Rivers now. I mean, that's like my,
It was state of the art.
that was my home, you know.
Oh, no, there's a lot of great memories.
I lived there for a number of years.
There's a lot of great memories.
It was a beautiful park. Love that place.
Not as beautiful as PNC, but a lot of
I'll
great
give you
memories.
that.
Yes.
A lot of great memories at Three Rivers, that's for sure.
There's no doubt.
For Pirate fans and Steeler fans. Got away with a hanging slider. That's what Kutch hit for the double last time up. Pulled down the line.
How about another? Drive in Liriano here, maybe.
Won't let him do that.
That one hit well on a base hit. Good to see McCutchen hitting a couple of balls well. Pirates have 7 hits off Arrieta tonight.
Right up there, let her high. Out over the plate.
First time the Pirates have ever had 7 hits off Arrieta as a Cub. They did once when he was with the Orioles 4 years ago, but never more than that. They've hit 2 home runs tonight off Arrieta. David Freese the first. Working on a 9-game hitting streak now. Well, he's come up with some big hits early in games, late in games, just when you seem to need it. Which is pretty congruent with what he's done throughout his career.
Yeah, he's been a big game player, that's for sure. Shows up when you really need him. She said.
2 on, 2 out. Just missed.
Throw a fastball by him inside.
First time around, Arrieta couldn't sneak one by him.
A similar pitch to the one he just fouled straight back. About the same spot.
Broke his bat. Baez can go to the bag. And that ends that. Pirates get 2 hits, strand 2 through 5. Pirates up a pair. Lead it 3-1. Oh, I like the phrase of that. Hey, we're celebrating Pittsburgh's bicentennial, and let's take a look back at some of the Pirates' history. And of course, the Pirates founded in the National League in 1887 as they began as the Pittsburgh Alleghenies. And then right after that, 4 years later, as the Pirates allegedly pirated Louis Bierbauer from the Philadelphia A's. And that's how they got their nickname. 1903, winning their first World Series, because it was the first World Series. That's when they won their 3rd straight pennant in the National League. And then in 1925, beating the Senators. They were the first team to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win. And in 1960, who can forget Bill Mazeroski's home run, the last World Championship won by any Pittsburgh team, in fact, here at home. And winning on that game-winning home run back in 1960. Just a brief history of Pirates baseball. Yeah, they used to be the Alleghenies, who played in Allegheny. And then they were the Pittsburgh Pirates without an H on the city spelling of Pittsburgh at that time, 1909.
You know, and I think they were unjustly accused of pirating Bierbauer. He was a free agent. He could have signed anywhere.
But it got one of the coolest nicknames in all sports.
That's true.
We'll take it. Meanwhile, Liriano working into the 6th. He's blocked 3, he's hit 2, but he's permitted just 1 to cross home. Juan Nicasio getting loose in case.
No fence behind the bullpen mound anymore.
Since since we've been gone, they've got a little extra room out there.
Definitely a big change.
That'll help in September. We got 15 guys down there. Freeze's muffed the pair tonight, and you don't see that. As sure-handed as it gets down there. second error tonight.
Didn't get down far enough on that one. Just clipped the bottom of the glove.
Mariano was able to work around a leadoff error by Freese back in the third. Pitch count at 89. Hayward tripled near the top of the fence back in the fourth his last time around. Ended up scoring. That's the lone Cubs run at the moment. Just out of the reach of McCutcheon. Popped him up, and Kratz, a late look, but it'll get into the seats.
Always got to take a little bit of a jog back there. There's nothing more embarrassing, I think, for a catcher not to go back and look. Have one even fall close. Even if it still falls in the stands, if it's close, everybody's looking at you like you couldn't have gone back there. Maybe so. You got to give it a jog and take a look at it. Never want to
get that sudden gust of wind or something.
Because of the spin on those pop flies, they're always going to work back a little bit to the field.
One. In and 2-1 on Hayward. Liriano at 92 pitches. He's gone as many as 111. He's a veteran. He can go that far. With Nicasio warming, how far will he be allowed to go? We'll see. Probably the threshold, right? If he allows another base runner, probably his day's done. If he
yeah, with Nicasio up and warm, they got him up for a reason, so he'll be on a short leash here.
Liriano has not retired a batter in the 6th inning in each of his last 3 starts, so we'll go a little further than he has lately. Kratz will have a word. Pirates getting 3 runs in the second off Arrieta. Home runs by Freese and Rodriguez accounting for those runs. Pirates also having a couple of 2 men on 2 out opportunities in the 3rd and 5th innings. Cubs have stranded 6. Two. Just missed outside. Couple of long at bats here in this inning here. 7th pitch coming up to Hayward.
They were getting close to that 100 pitch mark. 6th inning. This is about right for Francisco, pitch count wise.
And a base hit. Russell did not run on the pitch. He'll stop at second. 2 men on after the error in the single. No men out. Javi Baez will be coming up. And Nicasio will be called in. He has not come on with men on base as a reliever this season. Still relatively new to the bullpen, so this will be a different type of scenario for Nicasio. Liriano leaves with a lead, eligible for a win. Now it's up to the Pirates bullpen. They're on top 3-1 here in the 6th.
The telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Liriano done after 5+. Pirates on top 3-1, and the Cubs trying to negate that here with 2 men on and nobody out. And Liriano today, better numbers, giving up just 3 hits, getting some help from the field.
Yeah, it's really kind of a tough game to say. Was this a good game, bad game? There were some very good parts to it, and some parts that you wish that it would have been a little bit of a different outcome, but still he's given up just 1 run through 5, so the chance obviously to win. And there's Nicasio's numbers on the year.
Coming on with inherited runners for the first time this season.
Look at this.
Well, now 2, a double play.
How perfect was that? Come in, throw 1 pitch, get 2 outs.
How's that for some confidence?
This is a way to do it. Look at that. Perfect slider. Well, when they try to pull that pitch away, especially if it's a slider, so often it's just a ground ball to short.
Well, that's huge. Now a runner at third, but 2 outs, and for Montero hitting below 200. Wow. This Pirates bullpen has really been a lifesaver. I mean, you could argue that's the reason why the Pirates have been winning these games.
Oh,
starting pitching.
I could say yes, that's why.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Starting pitching still has not gone deep into ball games over this stretch.
The offense is kind of getting back to where they were, or maybe you could say they are back to where they were the first couple months of the season. But none of that makes any difference if the pitching hadn't picked up. Well, the starters are still, getting those 5-inning starts, but that bullpen has been amazing.
Look at that. 0.40 is the ERA. That's not, 3, 4, 5 games.
And they haven't been doing that pitching 2 innings a night. They've been doing that pitching 3, 4, sometimes 5 innings a night.
Not a lot of walks. And that's more than 2 weeks ago. So it's been a pretty good stretch. They've been almost perfect. And Nicasio, since joining the bullpen, has joined in on that parade too. He's been very much a part of that.
you want to include that ground ball he's gotten. He's given up 1 run in 9 innings in his 6 games since joining the bullpen. See if he can get Montero here and strand the 2 men. He already erased one of them. David Ross on the concussion DL for Chicago. So Montero and Contreras, the team's catchers. Now 2-2. Not fared as well against lefties, hence the move to the bullpen. Deep to right, and Polanco will watch it get out of here. 2-run game-tying home run for Miguel Montero. His 5th of the year.
Well, we just saw that stat about the righties and lefties. And coming out of the bullpen, you can control better what type of hitter he's facing, whether it's right-handed or left-handed. When he's starting, you can. And the big difference is in the slider. So here he does face a lefty, he does throw a slider, and it gets out of the ballpark. But that's the scenario coming out of the bullpen you can try to avoid. And when he was starting, of course, the other manager would put all those lefties in the starting lineup against him.
3rd time Montero has taken Nicasio deep in his career at 15 at-bats. And Montero hitting below 200. Able to tie this game at 3. Arrieta strikes out to end the inning. But the Cubs cash in a big way. And now all even. The Pirates will have to get some more offense as the Cubs have come back to tie it. 3-3 as we move to the last of the 6th. Nightfall setting in on this summer night in Pittsburgh. Starling Marte. The Pirates have been able to crack Arrieta for 3 runs on 7 hits so far. One thing you pointed out, Bob, was, hey, get him out of the game. That pitch count is very low.
No, I mentioned that in his 3 losses through 5 innings, he threw well over 100 pitches. Well, he's thrown 5 innings here, and he's only thrown 67 pitches. So
you're not going to get into that.
That part hasn't gone correctly. We do have the 3 runs up there against him, so that's the good news. I guess if you can't get his pitch count up, get his run total up.
Well, that's just
get the ball over the fence.
Well,
they've been able to do that.
Well, the theory behind what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Baez, slick fielding.
Yeah, it looked like that last hop might have been a little tricky. Stayed with it.
It makes a lot of sense because this Cubs bullpen. Not only are they, they're okay, but they've also been battered and used a lot lately.
Baez had to make a last-minute adjustment with that glove, bring it behind him and up real quick. Catch that ball that came up a little higher.
So 1 away. Harrison getting a close shave.
Yeah, that was a big miss by Arrieta. You saw the target was actually low and away. The ball ended up maybe about 3 feet from there.
Russell. Now 2 gone.
Shortstop, Sean Rodriguez.
Sean Rodriguez coming up. He's the reason why Pirates very much in this ball game. Went through with a huge home run off Arrieta back in the 2nd. 2-run shot. Now 2 strikes.
Pretty good curveball. One of the things that's different about the curveball is that it's much slower than everything else. So sometimes just that lack of speed can get that hitter off his stride and get that bat through the strike zone before it ever gets there. Close pitch there, Sean's way.
This is 1-2. Russell.
Normally everything. Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
10 pitch hitting for Arrieta.
by the Chevy Trax and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. Check out the Barrel Hot List at barrel.com. Now the only way to buy a car. Let's go Bucks!
3-3 ball game as we head to the 7th. Cubs tying it in the 6th. Hey, stay tuned after the game for a new Inside Pirates Baseball. This week we explore whether hitters prefer facing a tired starting pitcher or a gritty bullpen. Plus, guys talk about their dreams of making highlight reel catches. Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, tonight after postgame right here on Root Sports.
Neftali Feliz, 40 games now. 32 innings, 191 opponent batting average, ERA in the 2s, 2-0 record. Solid season at this point.
Now the Pirates signing him to a one-year deal after getting let go by the Texas last year. The Tigers decided to non-tender him. Kind of banking on his past resume, and sure enough, he's
well, you know, that non-tender thing
that's not what I was expecting.
could definitely work out better for the players. You know, let them go someplace where, you know, no baggage. They get a fresh start. Probably not as quite as good on the bank account as if they would be tendered.
But still a lot of legal tender.
Yeah, still a lot of legal tender. Maybe not quite the same.
Zobrist batting for the 4th time, reached on an error and a walk. Three deadlock here in this series opener. Can the Pirates keep the good vibes going? Can they keep the Cubs reeling? Cubs have lost 13 of 18. 7 of their last 8, 3 in a row.
I certainly would like them to keep losing right into their all-star break. Let them have to stew for 4 days, answer uncomfortable questions about what's happening. They're going the wrong direction. Just keep them going.
Cubs came back to tie it on Miguel Montero's home run off Nicasio. He win an inning. Earned run charged to him. The other one, an unearned run charged to Liriano. So 2 runs, 1 earned, and 5+ for the Pirates star. Foul ball. Larry Vanover right on the call.
Close one.
That's why they stand right on the line. Where does it cross the bag? Another good vantage point right there, right behind home plate.
You know, not only close to the action, you can hear everything going on.
Strike 3 call.
There it is. Zobrist stood up there for a while and complained about this call, but it might have been just a little off. But Cueto painted that one right in the corner.
Not chanting his name. Now Chris Bryant doubled back in the 1st. He's also walked tonight. With 25 home runs, tops in the senior circuit.
sliders are in the right spot. They are a pretty pitch, aren't they? Just, if you can just do that every time. It's 2 in a row. Put 3 in a row there.
Missed with the first one. Last 2, if he doesn't swing, there might be strikes anyway.
Three in a row, right on top of each other.
That's what made Feliz an all-star closer with Texas.
Here it is, the Cueto turn. There's the glove, drills it right there, outside corner.
That's been catching on throughout baseball. A lot of guys starting to employ that every now and then.
No.
Everything truly goes inside. Things disappear for a while, then they come back, they go away.
Didn't Gene Garber do a little bit of that twist too?
Oh yeah.
If I remember right, ex-Pirate.
When I was in Atlanta, he was our closer.
He was a good closer.
Great changeup. That was his pitch.
Yeah, more known as a Brave. No swing. Feliz has retired the first 2 Cubs on strikes.
At the press.
The woods yet with Rizzo. A 3-3 game in the 7th.
I'll tell you what, he has got some pretty darn good control tonight.
He's got out the easel.
99-mile-an-hour fastball right on the edge.
Working with the oils this evening.
Hey.
Let's just put a little bird right here.
Feliz is going to have to grow his hair out to be Bob Ross.
Make this a bush.
Well, 3-2. 98.
It's not only using oils, but these are some vibrant colors. 99, 98.
Hit well and deep to right center, and there it goes. Anthony Rizzo hits his 21st home run, which gives the Cubs their first lead of the night.
All these painted pitches where he's just all on the edge, couple hitters in a row, just living edge, 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 making perfect pitches, and then comes into the middle of the plate one time and he gets burned. It's tough up here. Watch the location. Right down the middle, and he got burned for it. Dropped his head. He knew immediately that that ball was gone.
(4-3) Chicago. And a strike away from getting out of that inning. 1-2-3. And instead, Rizzo sends one into the night. Well, the Pirates will have to get their sticks moving again. Feliz did not like that call. Neither did the Pirate bench.
take a little walk after that call. He really was upset with it. Well, he's upset with the home run. He's not a happy camper right now.
Contreras 0 for 3. Cubs with 4 unanswered have the lead. Well, on a night where the Pirates have scored 3 times off Arrieta and homered twice off him. Hope that would be enough. They're going to need more. That just missed. Clint Hurdle has been very vocal about strike calls. Just missed in. Those pitches did miss. And now he misses again, and Contreras draws a 2-out walk. Well, this Pirates bullpen coming into tonight about as good as it gets. Now look at our Nissan road ahead, and it'll be Chad Kuhl, the rookie, opposing John Lester tomorrow, the left-hander, without his personal catcher David Ross, who's on the concussion DL, and then Lackey versus Neese, who is scheduled to go on Sunday. Day baseball before the All-Star break, and Pirates hoping to go into the break with a little bit closer to these Cubs. And here, this is cool. This tomorrow we're going to see the Pirates being having this adorning their uniform, a patch with the Pittsburgh Centennial, and
is that the Clemente Bridge it's on?
Yeah, 200 years.
Very nice.
Sister bridges. Festooned on there.
The bridge was falling into the river. The way I was holding.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Right. Nicely done. Yeah, 200 years of Pittsburgh tomorrow, the official day.
Don't show them, Arnold.
Oh, that's trade secrets. Now it's going to be stuck on my thumb.
Let me lean back and get it. No.
Maybe it'll start another winning streak. Pirates need some runs to start a new one, down 4-3. Pirates bullpen, who has been so good tonight, has given up a pair of home runs. Pirates bullpen has allowed 2 runs tonight, which equals the amount of runs they've given up basically over more than the last 2 weeks.
I think one of the things that we've all been saying over the last week or so, that yeah, they're on a great run, but pitching this many innings night after night after night, how long can it continue? It puts a huge amount of pressure on them.
And as good as they've been, I mean, you can't keep that up. I don't care if you've got the best 7 relievers in baseball in your bullpen.
Absolutely.
You can't be that good, but that's what has helped the Pirates have this great stretch of games. So on a night where they're not perfect, hard to really get on them, even though they inherited the lead and now have turned it over to the Cubs. But you make out a good point. The starting pitchers, you know, the last 13 starts, including tonight, just 2 of them have lasted 6 innings, and none have even pitched into the 7th. So a lot of innings from the bullpen. And that's when the Pirates have been winning. So. And a Point Park tweet from Mark. Yeah, he wants you to fall out of your chair again.
Well, it might work.
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
No, but I'm game. You know how I am about superstition.
I mean, if you're willing to do it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. We have
set
different chairs though.
Yeah,
these won't go
very
back.
ergonomic.
And there's no padding. ones in Seattle were like this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know about these.
You are a team player. No one can ever say that you're not. Here goes the runner and swing and a miss. Russell down on strikes. 3 Ks in the inning for Feliz, but the home run by Rizzo gives the Cubs the lead at the stretch.
We would most likely see Josh Bell off the bench at some point this weekend, and it looks like that moment has arrived. Of course, he's been tearing it up at AAA, and it's his second season at Indianapolis that has really made the difference.
Just having that comfortability with Butch Weiniger and having a game plan set for every game, and really trusting that was the main reason why I could really turn it on in the last couple of months. And you know, it's a great stadium, it's a great park, it's a great atmosphere, and it's great baseball. So just getting that underneath my belt last year really was good for me.
And he's in the on-deck circle, guys, so maybe he'll get a chance to get comfortable here at PNC Park.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see him, especially in this ball game where it stands right now, 4-3 Cubs. And Adam Frazier pinch hitting here for Eric Kratz. There's Josh Bell, called up today. Switch hitter who has been setting the International League on fire. And he'll get quite a first test, won't he?
Yeah, he's going to, whatever happens, he'll always think about that first at bat against a Cy Young Award winner.
Frazier with that good speed trying to get aboard to start the inning.
Action in the bullpen before Arrieta even threw his first pitch. We got some guys up, and I think that even though the pitch count is in good shape, they'll make a quick move.
Carl Edwards Jr. and Travis Wood is the lefty for Chicago.
So just 79 pitches, so that's not why they have guys up. It's all about performance and maybe wanting to get a certain matchup.
Now 2-2 on Frazier. Now if he can get aboard with that good wheels, you know, he can find his way into scoring position on a walk, base hit. First time facing Arrieta. Now 3-2.
Took a little bit of gamble laying off that one, but it paid off.
And there's ball 4. The tying run aboard for Josh Bell.
For the Pirates, number 55, Josh Bell.
So there he is, Josh Bell,
Nice
out
hand.
of Irving, Texas. 23-year-old. About to make his major league debut, and the Pirates' second-round pick 5 years ago, and was the Pirates' 14th minor league player of the year, and he's always hit in the minors. But this year, especially, as the switch hitter, batting balanced against lefties and righties, and really coming on over the last maybe 7 or 8 weeks or so.
And getting the ball over the fence also. You know, he's a big, strong kid that can really launch him a long ways. 13 home runs.
Facing a reigning Cy Young Award winner. Frazier is 3 for 3 in steals since coming up. And Clint Hurdle says that he'll give him the green light on many occasions. Well, the potential go-ahead run here in the 7th. Smooth swing and a base hit from Bell. Frazier to third, and the Bucks in business here in the 7th. There's Dad. And the ball goes away. What a moment for Josh Bell.
Well, you know, I was talking earlier about whatever happens, he's got that memory. How about the memory now? He got the base hit and drove the tying run all the way to third base.
And keeping this thing going. Pirates with 8 hits off Arrieta. They've never done that.
Nobody out.
What a nice swing, too. Look at this.
First pitch breaking ball. That's impressive.
Plenty of standing room for Mr. Bell.
It was hard for him to watch. He actually had to walk up there and kind of peek over.
Not just a hit, but a big hit. Arrieta. Now Jaso, a ball and a strike. And ahead in the count, 2-1. Two on, nobody out. Jaso is 1 for 17 in his career against Arrieta. Is he due?
He's due.
Game hanging in the balance here in the 7th. Can the Pirates retake the lead? 2-2. Here's a base hit. Frazier is in, and we are tied.
Arrieta had almost a little smile on his face there, like, almost like, can't believe it. Boy, look where that pitch was. What a great job of hitting by Jaso. I didn't realize it was that far down out of the strike zone. He just went back and down and just served it the other way.
First time Arrieta has ever allowed 4 earned runs in his 13 career starts against the Pirates. Bell's that potential go-ahead run as the Pirates have tied it here in the 7th. Thanks to Josh Bell, in part, singling in the inning. John Jaso driving in Frazier. And a big hit as a little boy there back in the Little League. Of course, maybe foretelling the future. Josh Bell, a Pirate.
Always look good in the black and gold.
And in his first at-bat as a Pirate, singling off of reigning Cy Young Award winner Jake Arrieta. And one batter later, Jaso driving him out of the game. Dad in the house. Did you get it? Did you get it? Yes. Bell has a chance, standing at second base, to give the Pirates the lead back.
It's been a good season so far for watching dads. A lot to cheer for.
The lefty Travis Wood on to face Polanco.
Wood's numbers on the season. Doesn't give up many hits. A very low opponent batting average.
Two on, nobody out. And 2-0 on Polanco. Polanco slugging about 408 against lefties, so that's gone down quite a bit as the year's gone on, but still hangs in there. Tough play, and everyone is safe. Here comes Bell. He's in to score, and the Pirates back on top.
Being back home, don't you? And Rizzo throws the ball a little bit behind Wood, and he just couldn't make the catch. Taking off, watching the play, sees it get away. Eases over the plate to go ahead and run. Marco going down the line. You see him limping a little bit there. He's had a bad wheel, but he's nobody came out to look at him or anything, I don't believe. He's still out there on the base. Don't like the way he crossed the bag.
After the error, the Pirates have the lead here in the 7th. Game. He has been banged up with a left hamstring concern and wincing as he ran to first base, and he's removed from the game.
Not happy.
So
well, let's hope that it's nothing serious.
Eric Fryer, who was going to come into the game anyway after Kratz was pinch hit for it. Pinch running. Carl Jr. Carl Edwards Jr. Sorry, I got a little hungry there for that. Infield in for the Cubs. The Pirates have taken the lead. Andrew McCutchen. Inning with 2 men on, nobody out. First 4 have reached. On a night where the Pirates have scored 5 off Jake Arrieta, and he's still responsible for Jaso at third. May have caught a break there.
Bat didn't get out there quite a ways.
Oh, look out. Third hit of the night for McCutchen. Jaso is in. Pirates lead it 6-4.
There's a throwing duck. Pirates have been hammering some breaking balls tonight. Normally they're not a great breaking ball hitting team, but another breaking pitch, hit for a line drive.
Kutch with a 3-hit night. Just keep that line moving. David Freese, who was homered earlier tonight, he's 2 out of 3. Pirates lead 6-4. They've scored 3 times to come back here in the 7th.
if I catch up to that one.
Eric Fryer, the lead runner at second. He's running for Polanco, who left with an apparent injury.
2 in a row by Freese.
Closes the book on Arrieta. He gives up 6 runs in 6+ innings.
Carl Edwards is fast. He can get up there in a hurry.
Still nobody out. Get 1. And Freese beat out the relay.
That's a big one. Be able to beat that out. Much doubt about that.
Only 1 out, and that's all in this inning.
It's a big difference having a runner at third with 1 out and 2 outs. It's why it's so important to get down there and beat that relay throw from second.
Eric Fryer standing at third.
Very speedy Marte coming up, and they're looks like they're going to come in a little bit in the middle of the diamond. Not really playing back double play distance, but
2/3 of the way.
Yeah, not on the grass either.
Corners are in.
They're trying to guard against both. They're trying to guard against the, the run from scoring on a ground ball at them, but they're also trying to give themselves enough room backwards so that they can still get a double play if they think they can.
On a strike on Marte.
They're in a hybrid position.
Pirates have scored 3 times here in the 7th. Looking for more. Edwards, a rookie.
Looks young.
Son of Carl Edwards Sr.
When he gets to stand sideways in that stretch position, it's hard to make him out. He's kind of a blade out there.
6'3", 170, 24-year-old, born in Prosperity, South Carolina. Pirates providing little of that here in the 7th. Broke his bat. There's 1 out, and Fryer is in. It's 7-4 Pirates. Russell making sure to get 1 out there.
Didn't do him any good. They gave up a run.
Marte scores that run, an unearned run credited to Wood. Pirates striking for 4 in the 7th to take a 3-run lead. Chance to gain a game on the Cubs.
See how long Marte stays at first.
This would be quite the statement, as the Cubs have taken the first 8 of 9 games in this season series. Pirates fell behind, and they have rallied back. Not to be pushed around anymore. Marte moving. Good pitch to Thrawn, and a bad throw by Montero. Second steal tonight for Marte.
He could have asked for a better pitch to throw on that. Pitch out like. High fastball. just what you want. And another high fastball in the center field.
Opposing base stealers have stolen 41 times against Montero and been thrown out twice. Now 3-0. Two-out hit here could give the Pirates some more breathing room. And the walk to Harrison. Let's go back to the studios. We've got a game break.
Shortstop, Sean Rodriguez.
Thanks, Rob. That's what the Cubs could have used here in this inning instead of 4-run inning so far for the Pirates. Could this be yet another come from behind win?
It's looking good at this point. Wondering if this will be another chance to steal a base, but J.A. over at first. With Marte at third, they probably wouldn't even throw down.
Rodriguez, the 9th man to bat this inning. Takes off speed for strike one. Rodriguez really with a big hit tonight. That 2-run home run back to the second off Arrieta. Second home run in that inning. Arrieta gave up 6 runs and 6+ tonight. 2 of those inherited runners that came across here this inning. Pirates entering play tonight 8.5 back of these Cubs. There goes Harrison. And Rodriguez strikes out to end the frame. But the Pirates not only take the lead, they storm ahead with 4 in the 7th and lead it 7-4.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
8th inning coming up. Nice night here in Pittsburgh. Just got a little nicer on a Friday night. 7-4 Pirates. What a big come from behind inning. Lots of changes as Adam Frazier in for Polanco, who left with an apparent injury. He'll take over there. Jordy Mercer is the new shortstop. Coming in bat in the 9 spot. And Sean Rodriguez swings over from short to first base. And now Eric Fryer, who pinch ran for Polanco, doing the catching. Polanco left the game with left hamstring tightness, and that is the concern that has been bothering Polanco over the last week or two. Popped him up.
Take a look at Tony's numbers on the season. As always, they're pretty good. ERA maybe a little higher than we've seen it in the past, but still, it's a pretty strong stat sheet. Well, you know, maybe Polanco gets a couple of days off here, and then you get the All-Star break. Not doing anything for a week. Come back next Friday, and that leg be just fine. Keep our fingers crossed that that's the case. We need that big bat lineup.
Yeah, need him healthy. Pirates look like they could get healthy here in about 2 weeks from now, and might have everyone back, barring any setbacks or any new injuries. And if this Pirates team could be fully healthy for the final 2+ months of the season, look out.
As long as they get starting pitching.
You're right about that. Tonight, a run, one earned run, 2 runs total, 5+ from Liriano. Garrett Cole set to start Sunday in Indianapolis.
Coming back, that'll be a big help. You know, sometimes you get that #1 guy back in the rotation, and it's everybody going a little bit better, going a little deeper in those games.
Baez tonight drove in a run with a bounce out back in the 4th. Pirates scored the first 3. Cubs came back with the next 4. Pirates equaled that with that outburst in the bottom of the 7th. A walk to Baez. And the Pirates return to Root Sports on Sunday for their last game before the All-Star break. And join us from PNC Park as the Pirates wrap up this series against the Cubs Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason. So a pinch hitter, it'll be Albert Almora to bat here for Montero, the Cubs catcher, being lifted, even though he had a 2-run go-ahead home run in the 6th. They want the lefty against the lefty.
Yeah, a little different matchup here.
Rookie at 273 with a home run. There's 1, 2, a double play. What a Friday night it is. Pirates coming back and now have a 7-4 lead here in the 8th. Chris Bryant moves over from right to left. And Albert Almora Jr. stays in the game. He'll play in center field. Jason Hayward was there. Now he moves to right. Left fielder Wilson Contreras. Now behind the plate. Anybody else? Trevor Cahill. Okay.
There's the last one.
Adam Frazier. We had that walk to lead off the 7th inning.
That thing's going. It's in the Bell's big hit. I mean, that's got to be a candidate for play of the game. Huh?
We were told earlier that Mercer was batting in the 9th spot. He's not. He's batting in the number 1 spot. So he's out on deck, and so this is Joyce pinch hitting for Tony Watson. Semantics. And Joyce, baseball's leading pinch hitter. Tied for the most pinch hits, most home runs as a pinch hitter, most RBIs as a pinch hitter. Mark Melanson get loose. Jake Arrieta gave up 6 earned runs in 6+ innings. He hadn't given up 6 earned runs this year. He hadn't done that last year either in any of his starts. The Cubs coming in losers of 7 of 8, 13 of 18. The Pirates trying to keep that going here tonight. And Joyce, as he does, draws the walk. Nice moment earlier tonight. Josh Bell, it's an important part of the ball game, lining a base hit off Jake Arrieta and $1 million smile, Zach pointing out. Kyle Dawson, pretty good way to get it. And DJ mentioning Josh's Twitter account in case you want to follow the new Pirate. Jordy Mercer batting for the first time. 274 average. And look at this. You know, the Pirates, I wanted to look this up. They felt as far back as 15 games back after losing to the Cubs at Wrigley on June 19th. 15 games behind. Now, even though at that point there's a lot of baseball left, you think, how do you come back from 15 down?
I agree. You know, but it's turning out to be kind of like a single game. They've been so good at coming from behind in games. They're kind of trying to do it for the whole season.
That was
it'll be the ultimate comeback win.
Oh, sure. You know, in 2.5 weeks, if the Pirates can hold on tonight, they will cut that deficit in half. In 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, the Cubs have helped a little bit.
Oh, sure.
They've been going the other way just as fast.
Joyce trying to advance, and he is safe.
A little trickery to get in there. Came through the back door. Good block. Joyce being aggressive.
It's a wild pitch.
You see him, instead of going with his left hand, he could have pulled that back. Went in the backside with his right hand, avoiding any tag.
hustle from Matt Joyce on the base pass. Three and two now on Mercer. Ball four. Harrell walks in the inning from Cahill.
That was close to a wild pitch.
And 2 on for Eric Fryer, who has an opportunity here. Batting for the first time. That one is going to go foul.
Touch on deck. Hit the ball right on the nose a couple of times tonight.
Fryer with a nice road trip, being added to the Pirates after being cut loose by the Cardinals. Been in 46 at bats. Anytime you're hitting 370. Pretty good. 3 out of 8 with the Pirates. Oh, what a catch by Baez.
He was robbed. Trying to get that batting average up.
Well, if he ever plays every day, he's probably going to win a Gold Glove one day. That was an extraordinary play, and that probably could have saved a run. At the very least, he got bases full with 1 out. Good job for everybody to get back.
Yeah, freeze on the line drive, get back.
So instead of loaded with 1 out, 2 on with 2 out, McCutcheon 3 hits tonight. Drove in a run in the 7th. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
That last base hit, he hit right back through the middle.
Oh, it clipped him. All it's got to get is the uniform. It doesn't have to hit the body at all. Let's see. Right.
Hip check.
Yeah. That's enough. Bases full of buckos.
Meeting of the minds.
And Chris Bosio want to talk things over.
Decide what it is that they're going to do. Tough one here. You get Freeze up, bases loaded.
He's starting the scoring tonight with his 2nd inning home run off Arrieta. Freeze with a pair of hits tonight. Contreras with the stop on ball 1. Joyce drew a pinch hit walk.
Cahill really has been throwing the ball all over the place at times here in this inning.
Ball to strike. really make this a one-sided affair. Joyce the lead runner at third. Mercer out at second.
Base hit takes it out of a save situation.
No hits in the inning. 2 walks and a hit batter. And in case it does get that way, A.J. Schugel is up.
Base hit, it'll be Schugel. Save situation will be Melanson. You know, with the bullpen pitching so well of late, I'm surprised they picked now is the time to make a change in the fencing in the bullpen.
Foul ball.
Just saying.
Well, it's working. That's incredible to think tonight. You know, Arrieta has been struggling a little bit. Gives up 6 runs tonight, more than, as you point that out, a little extra room out there. Maybe a reward for how well the Pirates bullpen has been pitching.
They gave up 3 tonight with the new configuration of the pen.
That gets away from Contreras, and Joyce will score standing.
Hey,
2 wild pitches in the inning.
Joyce been really impressive lately that running the bases, hasn't he?
Really anticipating.
Remember in St. Louis that tagging up, going to third.
And that it led to a run.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, this ball doesn't get away all that far, but here he comes. You don't have to be the fastest guy in the team to do a good job on the bases.
Contreras, the rookie, in his first couple of weeks in the big leagues. All the runners move up. 8-4 Pirates in the 8th.
Cahill certainly has been a challenge to try and catch this inning. There's another one.
3-2.
These aren't bouncing right in front of him either. They're over in the other batter's box.
This is not the same looking Cubs team we saw just 2.5 weeks ago as Melanson now sits down. To be fair, the Cubs have 11 men on the DL. Now there's another walk, the 3rd in the inning from Cahill, and the base is reloaded. They've kicked it around in the 7th, making a couple of errors. And here, Pirates still don't have a hit in the inning. 3 walks, a hit batter, 2 wild pitches from Cahill. Starling Marte with a single and a run batted in tonight. Found out, at least right now, he won't be part of the All-Star game. Losing out on the final vote to Brandon Belt. Got a chance to extend the Pirates' lead here in the 8th.
These guys in Silicon Valley might do some tricks or something, huh? Yeah, recount.
Well, there might be a reprieve as Yoenis Cespedes left the Mets game tonight with injury.
That's right. There's always last-minute additions.
And Dexter Fowler may not be ready for the All-Star game. He's still not active with the Cubs. Marte hoping for his first All-Star game. Talking with him yesterday, I asked him, did he vote for himself? Yes, he did. And thanks to all those who tried to get him in via the final vote. Hit a grand slam earlier this year. Now 2-2. Already 28 pitches for Cahill. there, and that's the inning. And the Pirates rocking on a Friday night. Here we go, ninth inning, and the Pirates try to open this series with a win. 8-4 on top of the Cubs. Would put them within 7.5 of Chicago, and A.J. Schugel on to try to get the final 3.
See Schugel's numbers on this season. He's pitched very well, doing a great job this year against the left-hand hitters.
Even as a right-handed pitcher.
His changeup has been pretty amazing.
Tommy LaStella, a lefty, pinch hitting. Running for Cahill. One out in the ninth. And for Schugel, a rookie who has gotten more and more prevalent situations and called upon to pitch in high pressure situations.
That's what happens when you're out there. You're doing well. You move up that totem pole. Always have that. Everybody is in a certain spot out there. Gets a little flexible at times. Some guys move up, some guys move down. Usually the two top spots normally pretty much stay the same. But Schugel, the way he has pitched, definitely deserves to have some, as you said, more important work. Pitch a little bit more in situations like this. With a lead in the last inning.
Little poke, and McCutcheon comes on to make the catch.
Nice break on that one.
Two outs in the ninth.
But it's kind of nice to be the guy that, excuse me, here we're going to see the catch again come in and make this nice running catch. It's nice to be the guy standing on that mound at the end of the game. Even if it's not a save situation, still, you know, you get to go through the receiving line and all of that. It's a cool feeling.
And out away from victory. Strike one to Chris Bryant. Pirates trying to pull within 7.5 of the Cubs for the first time since June 1st. And they've made up all that ground, 7.5 games in fact, in 2.5 weeks, if they can finish this off. And they're a strike away from doing that. 0-2 from Schugel. Now 2-2. Come from behind tonight. Had an early lead. The Cubs came back. 2-2. A little low.
A couple of change-ups in a row. Gonna get Bryant to bite, throwing him down there about shin high. Good job by Bryant saying no to him.
Payoff pitch. And the Cubs will keep the game going.
A little blooper.
Second hit tonight for Bryant.
Almost.
If he were 7-8, maybe
9-8, maybe. That one was a little high. Blanton back on the mound. One more base runner save situation, correct?
And the tying run comes on deck.
That will be it.
Clint Hurdle will use his closer as soon as it becomes a save situation. See if Schugel can get Rizzo here, who homered his last time. Rizzo's home run put the Cubs ahead in the 7th. And then the Pirates scored 4 times to come back and take the lead. They added another run without a hit in the 8th. Foul ball. A win would put the Pirates back to 3 games over. Brewers are leading the Cardinals 3-2 in the 7th. Now 1-2. If the Pirates win and the Brewers take care of St. Louis, the Pirates are back ahead of the Cardinals and in 2nd place. Schugel a strike away from a Pirate victory. One, 2. And 2-2.
put a fastball on the inside corner above the bell. I think he's got it. They're going in there.
It's the spot.
Overthrew it.
Bryant.
They need to be elevated a little bit.
They had that idea. That's Miguel Montero. He was hit with a pitch back in the second inning. Homered later on in the game, but has since come out. 3-2 now after Bryant takes second on defensive indifference. Pirates up 4 in the ninth. An out away, a strike away from opening the series with a win. And now Schugel has put 2 men on with 2 outs.
He won't be out there at the end of this one now.
And that's going to be enough to prompt Clint Hurdle.
That was chance.
Let's see. He always goes to the closer if it's a save opportunity, and sure enough it is. And so Schugel will be lifted from Melanson here in the ninth. So Melanson will try for his 5th one-hitter save this year and first 4+ run save of the year, with the Pirates up 8-4 here in the ninth. Leading 8-4 here in the ninth, and with the Pirates winning a lot as of late, 10 of 13. This one kind of starting to feel important, right? The Cardinals are trailing against the Brewers right now, and so if the Pirates can beat the Cubs, they'll move to 7.5 back and might even be in second place.
7.5 would be awfully sweet, and then 2 games left. Nice chance to knock a couple more off there.
And remember, the Pirates are going to play more than half of the final 70 games against teams with losing records in the National League. So many of those, the Brewers and the Reds. Now Mark Melanson to try to earn the save.
That'd be nice for him to pick up another one, maybe even a couple more before he heads to San Diego.
Pirates all-star representative. 26 saves. Needs an out. Wilson Contreras 0 for 3. And strike one. 5th time he's come on to try to face just one hitter and to get the save. He's also come on 5 times with a 4-run lead or more, and you can get a save 4 or more runs when the tying run is on deck, as is the case here. Two strikes. 35,904 here tonight. Oh, 2 pitch. Grounded foul. Lead runner is Bryant at second, Rizzo on at first. Another 2-strike pitch from Mark Melancon. Here it is. And a swing and a foul tip. They don't call it. They struck him out, and the ball game is over. And the Pirates open this big series with the Cubs with an 8-4 win.
This was a nice comeback again. I mean, just amazing the way they were doing it on the road, and now first game back. Another big one. They beat Arrieta, which is nice and sweet. And another big contribution from one of the youngsters coming up from AAA. Bell with that big hit right there in the middle of things in that 4-run inning.
So the Pirates have won 11 of their last 14, and they have beaten the Cubs for just the second time this season. Arrieta gives up 6 runs tonight, and the Pirates within 7.5 of Chicago with 2 more to play before the break. You can raise it. Pirates win it tonight, 8-4 over the Cubs. And time now for the post-game show, and with that, let's go out to Robin T.
Joe and Bob, thanks very much. A couple things have happened here that people didn't expect to happen as early as maybe 10 days ago. The Pirates will definitely be above 500 going into the All-Star break. They've also picked up 6.5 games on the Cubs over their last 10 games played.
And it's a combination of what both teams have done. You know, you thought at the beginning of the year the Cubs would never lose enough games you could pick up that many in a hurry. And there was a time a month ago where you thought the Pirates couldn't win that many in a row to be able to pick up that much in a hurry. But that is exactly what's happened in the last week and a half, and the Pirates now have this thing much more manageable than it was 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Bucks have won 11 of 14. They get another shot in the arm from another young player. Josh Bell is standing by with Dan Potash.
Well, Rob King, you and I were here back in 2011 when this man came to PNC Park as an 18-year-old teenager and signed his first contract. And Josh, I'm sure that you've dreamt over the last 5 years about what this night would be like. I'm sure there were some pretty good dreams, but considering how it unfolded tonight, what was that like?
Yeah, you can't draw it up any better. Just got to give a shout out to Frazier for working the count and drawing that walk, and I guess tiring Arrieta up enough for me to, get a slider up in the zone and for me to do damage with that.
Before I get to the at-bat, Clint Hurdle told us before the game that you were going to be used in a role off the bench. So when he finally looked at you and said, "Hey kid, you're up," what was your first thought?
Just get ready. I know I'm facing Arrieta. I know he's a phenomenal pitcher, but just got to stick to my game plan, and it worked out for me tonight.
Jake Arrieta, not a bad pitcher over the last year and a half, 2 seasons here in Major League Baseball. The fact that you took the first pitch and singled, how good did that feel when you rounded first base?
It felt great. It's walking on a cloud. It's an unbelievable experience, and I'm happy that I could do it here at home and in front of my family, and I couldn't ask for a better story.
Before I let you go, a lot of your teammates at AAA Indianapolis have been called up over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They've all pitched in one way or another. Now you add to that. How good does that feel?
It feels great. We put in so much work in the off season. We know we have a chance going into the year, going to big league camp and whatnot. So just getting our chance and capitalizing on it is an awesome feeling.
Josh, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Josh Bell and the Buccos victorious. We will see you tomorrow night.
Josh and Dan, thanks very much. Pirates winning 8-4. They come from behind for the 7th straight time in their wins. They've, of course, won 8 of 9, but the last 7 of those wins have all been comeback varieties. As we promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and it is that inning, Steve, the 7th inning, in which Bell starts things off. Well, Frazier starts it off the walk, but Bell gets the base hit, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open, and the Pirates go from a 4-3 deficit to a 7-4 lead.
Yeah, you know, you look at Jake Arrieta standing out there. He's got the number 8 hitter, the number 9 hitter up first and second in the inning. So, you know, you think you're going to have at least an easy trip through that inning. Wasn't quite so easy at all. Frazier with the great walk, Bell with his base hit, and then behind him the floodgates just opened up. Arrieta out of the game. The Pirates got to the Cubs bullpen, which has been a spot, you know, that they've had problems with. They just kept piling on and piling on and piling on. Finally, that 4-run inning turned this entire baseball game all the way around.
Bell scores the game-winning run. Andrew McCutchen, you saw in the middle of that, a big night for him offensively as the Pirates win by the final score of 8-4. Coming up on Pirates postgame presented by the Allegheny Health Network. Highlights in this game, you'll hear from manager Twin Hurdle. He's going to preview game 2 of this 3-game set. Highlights from around the league and more coming up next.